Everyone, okay, we'll do it again. Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, we have no delegations, consent agenda, nothing. Adoption of agenda. Do we need to adopt it, Becky? So there's nothing on it. Okay, motion, please. Moved by Chad, second by Keith. All in favor? That's carried. We're moving on to new and unfinished business retention and expansion program. Did you want to speak to it, Becky? Please.
Sure, I'm happy to speak on this. We are proposing in 2026, if approved by council, to undertake a business retention and expansion study for the township of Severn. So what a business retention expansion study is it's where you go out with standardized questions to get businesses' feedback and input on what the current state of the economy is and the current state or issues that they may have with the municipality. So usually it's basically doing a SWOT analysis of the local community. You take all of that information, and then using that information, it helps us develop strategic planning initiatives. So the economic development strategic plan is done or should be completed in 2027. And if it's completed, then we need data and information to update our new strategic plan. So then we can take all the information gathered in this business retention expansion study and put it into the strategic plan. So instead of having to do or hire a consultant to figure out what objectives should be, we can actually have objectives based on what the business community wants. So if there's any questions, it's a very detailed, intensive program. I'm not going to lie. I've been involved with two, and I've led one, and they are very time consuming. And usually the interview involves two people. So one person is taking notes while another person is actually giving out the questions or engaging in a conversation. So usually there is a committee or a group, so say this group, who would be involved with actually doing the interviews, while someone like myself is the one taking the scribing and taking all that information. It's also not, I can hear else. It's also not the most, it's also an expense that we would have to undertake. So there would have to be some supports for us to be able to have mileage for anybody volunteering to go for the interviews. A staff person may be needed to help us to actually reach out to all the businesses, because you can send a letter, no one responds to a letter. I'm sure everybody gets letters and you don't respond. So you actually have to have somebody that can do that constant communication and calling and following up. So right now we're estimating the cost would be about $48,000. So if anyone has questions, happy to answer.
Okay, thank you, Becky. Anyone have any comments? Heather?
Sure. How many towns are you going to?
So this would be for all of Severn. So right now, according to StatsCan, we have, and I have the number. Sorry, I'm just gonna grab it here. 1,400. Yeah, we have at least 1,400 registered businesses, but as yourself as a realtor, you are a registered business. So there would maybe be some, like if we went to a one real estate office, maybe then we don't go to every realtor. So my hope is that we could get at least 10% of the township's business population to do the surveys. And that would be 150. And the last one I did was a countywide event, and I did 130 surveys in 6 months. And that was sometimes 2 to 3 a day.
How well were you received, Becky? Like, were people forthcoming with information? Were they upset? Sorry?
Sorry, I realized my camera wasn't on to answer that. So for the question to member Corey, we have 140 businesses. We'd hope to get about 10%, but some of our businesses are realtors, etc. So there would be a duplication. And to Mr. Mayor, through to you, your question, it depends. Some businesses, yes, well received. Some of our interviews the last time, like you would book an hour, and some interviews would be 4 hours in length. Some would be half an hour in length. It depends what they'd like to talk about. Some people, the interviews were very much, we answered the questions, we went about our business, where other people wanted to talk about other issues because they had staff people to speak to. The real time consumption is, and it's actually a good thing, is the afterwards. So a lot of issues are raised during the interviews, good, bad, and evil, to be honest. And the evil and the bad you can start to work on and help to solve. So you can work with the business if they're having, for example, when we did at the county, there was a couple issues came up with one of the local municipalities. The local ADO was there. They were able to rush right back, tell them engineering what the problem was and get that solved. So there was a road work and it was affecting this business. Well, all we had to do was put in a temporary culvert, but that saved that business lots and lots of money. So that type of thing we can start doing and start helping out the businesses. And that's where, so for an hour long interview, I would probably have 2 hours of work afterwards. Because you're taking notes, of course. The notes are going to be very short. You want to add in more content to help. And then afterwards that you want to actually then follow up with the issues that they've raised, provide the support. If they say they need help with employment, you're going to connect them to the people that can help them find staff type thing. And then from there, taking all the data, we would then develop a trends report. We'd hire an independent person to go through all the data and basically do a data review and try to figure out all the trends. And then we could use the trends report to develop the new economic development strategy.
Alan, did you have anything that you want to comment on?
It seems pretty straightforward. Is there any way of shortening that to a having sessions at council where you bring multiple people in, or is that too much in terms of trying to describe the work, Becky?
Through the chair. What you find is people aren't that willing to share very technical or private information about their business when it is in a group setting. That would be the only drawback when you don't do it like that. People like to generalize where, through the surveys I've done in the past, people get very honest and they talk about things that maybe they don't want their neighbors to know because it is confidential. You actually sign a confidentiality agreement in front of the business to tell them that what you're telling them is not going to be revealed. And it does help them know that. And they get a copy of that when you're signing it. So they know that what they share with you, you're going to help them, but you're also not going to leak it out to their competitors. Where if you have, 14 manufacturers in a room, they may not want to share that, they're going under. So there is that support that can be, sometimes the one-on-one is a bit more supportive.
Thank you, Keith.
How are the businesses selected? Obviously, it's sort of a random thing, but
so that we can do it a couple ways. One of the ways that I've done it in the past is we actually went in and we figured out percentage-wise. So when we did an agricultural one at the county, when I was running it, is we went in, we figured out all the agricultural businesses, and then we figured out the percentages. So we knew we had so many retailers that had an ag component. We knew we had so many that were manufacturing. We knew we had so many primary producers, and then we tried to fill those gaps. We can do it that way. Or we can just do we send out the emails and the phones, and whoever wants to do the survey does the survey or participates. When you're doing 150, you could really get that's quite a high number. It really does depend. It's how we'd have to look at the numbers and get a real breakdown. Like I think our largest right now business is construction at 16%, I think. So like they would be the ones you'd want to do a major group have involved.
follow up through the chair. I'm just thinking of like the hidden businesses that don't have street signs and, like you'd need to do almost a deeper Google search. The ones that probably aren't included in that 1,400 number.
So the 1,400, through the chair, the 1,400 number does come from StatsCan. So that if they have a business, if they are a registered business, they should be on that. And that was where we would be hopefully bringing in a bit of a min support, that would be their job, or having someone like a part-time student from Lakehead or somebody come, and basically that's their job. Do a deep dive Google, go on to Google Maps and see who's put themselves on. The best resource is talking to counselors and our local residents who work here in the township and finding out who is who. Like, and maybe I don't know that Jane runs, a part-time hairdressing studio out of her house, but somebody here has her as a client, and we can connect and make those connections. And then we would also use a lot of advertising the best we can, using our social media to get as many people as we can.
So you commented there just on Keith in your comment, some people are afraid, they think they're violating some law. So how do we get around that to say that it's okay? Like, how do we do that? Like
To the chair, it is a very tricky thing. So that's where the confidentiality agreement comes in, is unless they're doing something that would endanger themselves or their neighbors. So if they're, playing with plutonium in their backyard, I do have to report that. But as a confidentiality agreement, I can keep that information private as long as they are doing something that doesn't hurt other people. The province who works with us on this program actually lays all of that out. And there's actually a training session that if EDAC decides to be involved with the surveys, you actually can go through the training. It explains, like, the confidentiality, what you do in situations where something may seem a bit, hazy on the ethical scale or on the danger scale. And to be honest, most of the people, if somebody's doing something that is really illegal, they're not going to want to do an interview with us. And usually it's just helping those people, usually the people that reach out for the surveys, they may know if they're a home-based business that usually they want to expand, so they know they need to get in touch with the municipality, and this is a good way to do a soft introduction to them and a soft introduction to staff and how we can work with them.
exciting, a lot of work on your part.
It will be through to the chair. Yes, it will be a lot of work, but if we can get support and council supports it through the mayor's budget, we can move forward with undertaking it. And I think it'll actually build a stronger economic development strategy moving forward. As you guys have seen in our past meetings, the economic development strategy we're moving very quickly through it. And I think we can get some really good hard tasks and activities in the next strategic plan that would really focus on building the community through, and actually having more input from our business community. We had great input last time. I think we can get even more input this time.
And sorry, Becca, even the high-speed internet, now that we know that Bell's gone through some of the areas that I had no clue about, this is going to bring more people that may stay at home and work, and God only knows what they may or may not be able to do out of their homes, right?
Yeah. Everything will be a great benefit to us.
Like back there at Peninsula Point, there was a lady that ran a trucking company and had 3 employees. She didn't have any trucks there. She was just a broker, right? But she employed 3 people in her home. She didn't have to expand her home at all, but things like that. But you need that high-speed internet to make it work, right? It's huge.
Just a quick comment. I think it would be very beneficial to try to get as many sectors as possible on the survey. So if there's anything that we can do as the committee to try to assist with that, if you're transparent with us as far as the businesses or the sectors that you have, if there's anything that you feel that's missing that you need, then happy to help you and support you through that.
Yeah, through the chair, hopefully we would be able to do, it would also help us develop a business directory. Like, we have a business directory right now of businesses. As I learn about them, I just add them onto a directory, so I have their contact information. hopefully we can build on that and we can share that out with the committee and they can be, oh, you're missing so-and-so, here's their information, or I'm going to send you their card. Or as you meet people, you could provide them and let them know about the survey.
Perfect. Thank you. Alan, are you okay?
Yes, I'm just wondering if there's going to be any social media spend on getting businesses to sign up, for one thing. And the second thing is what supports might there be from the province right now? I think we're going to be going through a little bit of a rough punch up where construction starts are down. And so I just wondered, is there some support that we can offer to get people to give some input now?
So through the chair, we will be, so if approved by council, we would be hopefully applying for a rural Ontario development grant in February. That's the next intake. They would, I believe it's in late spring that they announce the recipients. And then once we knew we had the funding, we could start the project right away. So it's a 50% matching program, and everything I have put into my proposed budget to council, sorry, the mayor's budget, would be eligible for reimbursement. So hopefully we would get back about $22,000 from the province. That would be how we would get their support. The province also provides all the training, and they actually run the program. So we don't have to buy our own data collection software. The province gives us all that for free. So, and they develop the survey for us. They help us do the data. They help us print out all the data collection, and they basically give us a customer service management software program for free if we participate in the program.
Thank you. Any further comments?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving on then, I think we just need a motion to
So
accept this.
the motion would be that administrative report number A 25-030 dated September 18th, 2025 regarding the business retention and expansion program be received, and that the Economic Development Committee supports the proposed 2026 business retention expansion program.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder. Moved by Chad, second by Jason. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. And adjournment. Do we need a motion for adjournment, Becky? Oh, I'm too fast.
Sorry. That the meeting be and it hereby now be adjourned at 8:29.
Mover and a seconder. Moved by Keith, second by Heather. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much, everyone.